With the midterm elections over, President Barack Obama is expected to resume heavy pressure on Israel, a report said. The Center for Security Policy asserted that Obama would threaten U.S. relations with Israel after the party's loss in congressional elections on November 2nd. The Washington-based institute said Obama would press for the establishment of a Palestinian state over Israel's objections. Once the 2010 elections are behind him, it is a safe bet that President Obama will revert to form by once again exhibiting an unmistakable and ruthless determination to bend Israel to his will, the report, authored by Frank Gaffney, said. Gaffney, a former Defense Department official, said Obama plans to increase pressure on Israel to unprecedented levels after his party's historic defeat in congressional elections. He said the president had eased pressure on Israel in response to Democrat candidates who feared a Jewish backlash. Unfortunately, what the president has in mind for Israel after the election will make his previous treatment of the Jewish state look like the good old days, the report, entitled Obama's Not-So-Hidden Agenda, said on October 26. The report echoed previous assessments by the Israeli intelligence community of a crisis with the United States in the aftermath of the U.S. elections. The Israeli assessment envisioned that Obama would accelerate efforts to establish a Palestinian state in the West Bank regardless of Israeli concerns. Worse yet, he will be able to take advantage of a vehicle for effecting the so-called two-state solution, no matter how strenuously Israel and its friends in Washington, the report said. The Palestinians will simply unilaterally declare themselves a state and ask for international recognition, and Mr. Obama will accede to that request. Gaffney said Obama could provide U.S. recognition in a unilateral declaration of Palestinian independence. Another option was that the president abstain from a resolution in the United Nations Security Council that would recognize a Palestinian state. The truth is that either way, Mr. Obama will have dealt Israel a potentially mortal blow, the report said. Without control of the high ground and water aquifers of the West Bank, the Jewish state is simply indefensible and unsustainable. The report said Obama could also agree to deploy U.S. forces in the West Bank in wake of a declaration of Palestinian independence. Gaffney warned that international forces, including Americans, would soon protect Israel's enemies in a policy similar to that of the UN peacekeeping mission in Lebanon. The same is certain to eventuate in the West Bank as paramilitary forces the United States has foolishly trained and equipped become a standing army and fall under the sway of Hamas, the report said. If you have been following my articles or videos for very long, you know that I believe that this is the path U.S. President Barack Obama will likely take. But to be fair, other political reports are stating that with the new Republican presence, for which many are pro-Israel, he may be forced to take a more passive approach. In other news, YNetNews.com is reporting that heavy sanctions by the international community is beginning to take its toll on Iran. In the article it states, November, for example, is supposed to be a dark month in Iran, yet authorities there are hiding it as much as possible. This month, the government will be forced to put an end to fuel subsidies, while Europe's skies will be fully closed off to Iranian planes. Should the West persist with this move, it would lead to a complete boycott and total isolation of the Khomeini state. Could sanctions actually work and force Iran to step in line with international demands? If this were to happen, it would go a long way toward bringing about Middle East peace and sending a strong message to the rest of the Islamic world, to countries such as Syria, Lebanon, Libya, etc. Here's a problem that's only going to get bigger. For years it has been reported that the Middle East is one of the driest places in the world. It is being reported that by 2015, unless something is done fast, it will become an existential threat to the region. Syria and Jordan are at the top of the list. Many Bible prophecy scholars have speculated that will be the reason behind the next Middle East regional war. Iran's looming nuclear program and the coming Middle East water shortage are only two reasons why I believe we are living in the last of the last days. This is Terry Malone with the Calvary Prophecy Report.